Hey guys, how you doing? Can someone just quickly in the chat let me know you can hear me? Hey, can someone in the chat just let me know you can hear me? Yeah, you can hear me. All right, cool. All right, awesome. We can get going here. So first thing want to note is here, just be aware it got, there it is. So you got FOMC stuff starting at 2 o'clock, got the meeting, got all that good stuff. So mark that on your chart if you got trades going into 2 o'clock. Just consider where they're at, all that good stuff, because price certainly does tend to move around during those events. Overall, let's start with the market trend model here real quick. We can see, I can't annotate this, oh well. We can see on the shorter term time frame, certainly some weakness creeping in. Longer term still strength, so think about this as like a pullback in the context or longer term uptrend. However, we really need to see the bulls turn this cumulative tick back up, railroad tracks back up, because this could be a point of failure here. So something, especially with the little bit of net selling we've seen to the last 3 days, yeah, definitely want to be cognizant of that, especially going into today. Let me get back to the 0DTE. Yeah, so let's start off with the SPX 0DTE. Massive iron condor structure in place. I think it's been there. It's either day 2 or day 3. I forget. But those goalposts, kind of where the market is bounded, is very clear. Drunken feather range, top to the bottom of that iron condor structure. This is the third day, right? He's lost to both the last 2 days, which is why the structure is so big today. So yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, anyways, first thing to note, DEX transition zone 59.95, 50 or 60.40. I think right now we're slated to open right around 59.90, 6,000. So we're gonna be right at the bottom of that DEX transition zone. 6,000 is a whole psychological key level that will be important as well. So if we lose the bottom of this zone, then conditions become increasingly more bearish on an intraday basis, especially if the market trend model continues to weaken, continues its short-term trend. So that's going to be something key that we're going to hone in on if we do lose the bottom of this transition zone. A couple further levels to be aware of to the downside, which are kind of like major ledges per se. Kind of how we think about it. First is 59.75 right here. We can see that just in terms of the distribution of speculation throughout the structure, there is a good bit, speculation piled at 59.75. So what that means is that we're going to need to see increasing volume to the downside to break through that level and sustain a break through that level. That's what we see time and time again, is these large kind of ledges in the structure. We really need to see, action like this, kind of large filter tick selling, and then our, intraday volume analysis supportive of kind of downside moves as well. And then below 59.75, we have 59.50, second ledge to the downside. And then below there, then we think if we lose 59.50, then it's a good possibility that we start to interact with the bottom leg of that iron condor structure. Now to the upside, right, it's kind of one-way train up to the top of the drunken feather range, top of DEX transition, COI, plus GEX, and the top of the iron condor structure. I may have said that twice, but sorry. But yeah, anyways, you get the point. And above at 60.40, right, we're going to need to see serious intraday volume come in. That is, via call speculation to propel us higher, right? Yesterday, if you were watching, we topped out at the top of that. No, that was 2 days ago. 2 days ago, but yeah, anyways, yeah, well, that's what we see time and time again, is those massive upper levels of speculation in the complex. Really need to see that call volume start to come in and continue to propel us higher. So that's exactly what we're gonna be watching today. Just to recap, we have the iron condor structures in place, DEX transition zone, drunken tethers, all that is very clear. Really below 6,000, 59.95, looking at the downside, 59.75, 59.50. Those are your two stops before we get down to the bottom of the iron condor structure. And then above this region, we're looking to the top of the iron condor structure. And then above that, right, we need to see, continued buying. What else do I have for you guys? Just so if you're new to this, when I say intraday volume, what does that mean? So here's just an example. This is from yesterday. What we do is SPX 0DT volume. We look at that on a 5-minute over 5-minute duration throughout the session. We aggregate the call and the put volume, understand that distribution, find the middle of that distribution, which is called a centroid, and then we plot that. And so by plotting that, using this as an example from the open to 1:20 Eastern Standard Time yesterday, we plotted that, and we can understand what the behavior of the call speculation and call speculators and put speculators are in the structure. And from there, it tells us two things: A, what the character of price action is, and B, what the projected path of those centroids are through the close. And that's important because price follows the centroids, or price follows where transactions are occurring. So this is a very helpful guide. Yesterday at 120, right, it was just showing, fairly choppy price action. We definitely knew that there was no call speculation higher. So that's a very important tool there. And then, you couple that with the market trend model and what that is doing intraday. That's a very kind of clear 1-2 punch of saying, hey, intraday selling, filtered tick selling, intraday volume, really no speculation going higher. So if anything, it's really helpful in kind of cutting off one side of the market. So, if you're looking purely long yesterday, that was not the way to go about it. And, if you're looking purely short yesterday, that made a lot more logic just because of the key levels we were at, and just kind of understanding what speculation was actually doing intraday. So that's the rant about that. We'll be watching that. We watch that every day. That's like a core that our levels, market trend model, and the vol M, vol D intraday analysis. That's what we do. The only other thing I was going to say is, we have a detailed write-up here. You guys feel free to go through it in its entirety in the Discord. We hit on SPX-A, what that structure looks like, SPX-P, what that structure looks like. And so hate to cut it short. Wife's called me twice now, so I need to pick up to see if she's all right. So we'll see you guys in the Discord. Thank you very much. Bye.